Hello everyone and welcome to the Woman Reinvention Project. My name is Vesna Hrsto and today we are speaking with Nikki Casey. Nikki is a personal stylist and image consultant at nikkicasey.com.au. She has 10 years experience in assisting professionals to become architects of their own style, and her focus is on empowering the individual through development of self-confidence and self-esteem. Welcome, Nikki.
Thank you, Vesna. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Now, before we kind of get into, reinventing the woman and her wardrobe and all of those things, just to get a bit of an idea, like one of the questions that I'm starting out with is what makes your life work? So what are some kind of routines or rituals that you do to keep yourself balanced?
I think the main focus in my life is the passion I have for my work.
Mm-hmm.
It is a huge part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just as passionate about keeping the balance in my life, Vesna. So family is pretty important. They're the people that I can pick up the phone to,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll encourage me, they'll congratulate me, and they'll keep me grounded.
Mm-hmm.
The same with my lady friends. They're a sisterhood and they're pretty important in my life. But the things that give me a lot of stability and balance are waking up every morning and basically making a list in my mind about all the things that I'm grateful for. And that stops, it's a great springboard to start the day with. And stillness. I make a habit of just pausing at certain times of the day before I start a new activity. As you can imagine, my life is pretty racy and it's rushing around shopping or doing wardrobes or building other people up. So I find it's really important to come back to myself and just have a moment of stillness, reevaluate, keep my feet on the ground and then take off again. So they're the things that keep my life pretty well in balance. And I guess the last thing is physical activity.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not an exercise freak, but I do understand that I need to walk, I need to jog, I need to do a bit of gym to keep my body and mind working really, really well.
You sound very peaceful and relaxed, and so I feel like those self-nurturing routines and rituals that you have obviously keep you quite centered because your presence is quite centered already.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel pretty centered.
Yeah. So what got you started into personal styling?
Sorry, Vesna?
What got you started into the personal styling and image consultancy?
Would you like the long story or the short version?
Maybe the shorter one.
The short one. Well, I started off as a teacher and then went into sales and marketing. A new world opened up and my life has been one of constant reinvention, really. It's changed. So we need to keep in mind that we can always change. It's not one career for a lifetime.
Yes.
And when I was in the sales and marketing world, I saw that people needed to sell themselves first before they could sell a product. They had to be credible, they had to be well presented, and that made them successful in sales and marketing. But there was an enormous gap, and people just didn't know how to do that, whether it was a man or a woman. They somehow let themselves down. So I thought, right, I went back to uni, did some psychology, and realised that the way we dress has a huge impact on our feelings of confidence, on our body language, how we sell ourselves and the message that we give out, and certainly about how we feel about ourselves. So there was my next career. It was image consulting and personal brand, personal style, and I became very, very passionate about that because it was such a feel-good, amazing journey to be on, helping others feel fabulous about themselves. So in a nutshell, that's it.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, I can only imagine how awesome it would be to just be looking at clothes all day and designing someone's wardrobe and going to the shops. I mean, it sounds fantastic. It's kind of a little dream of mine. Like, I love clothes. But so who do you work with and what is your kind of clientele and what do you help them with?
I deal with men and women, generally in the corporate world, in the professional world, but mainly women. I'm passionate about my girls. So they come from all walks of life, whether it's going back to work after having children, looking for a new career, looking to reinvent themselves in their own personal image, going for a job interview. So it's a broad spectrum, and it's not about fashion. It's about personal branding and the importance of having a personal style, because that's what you're selling, basically.
Yeah.
But I do have a couple of niche markets. I did go through breast cancer, the whole experience, the chemotherapy, the surgery, the radiotherapy, and the hormone therapy.
Wow.
So I really wanted to help women who were going through similar journeys, because I knew how they felt. I knew what it felt like to lose your femininity, your self-worth, that hatred when you looked in the mirror and saw something totally foreign to you, losing hair, looking sallow. So one of the things that I do and love doing is working with women who've had breast cancer, helping them through chemotherapy and post-surgery, and helping them to dress, to feel feminine again and to feel self-loving again. A bit of hair, a bit of makeup, but it's the clothes, letting them feel good, and you can actually see, their body language really changing, because from going stooped and hiding, the shoulders go back and they feel wonderful again. And there's been a lot of tears and a lot of hugs through that, but that is one of my areas that I'm very, very strong in. The other one is women who've come out of some sort of traumatic situation, domestic violence, and rape in particular. So I have a lot of stories, but one in particular, a woman was raped about 25 years ago, and she hid behind baggy, ugly clothing, locked herself up on a property, and came to me through her daughter, who was a product of that rape. And again, to make a long story short, she flew back interstate with a suitcase full of clothing and a heart that was open, feeling beautiful again. And for me, I think that's the greatest reward of all my work. So it is, yes, it's about clothing and shopping and wardrobes and all those lovely things that we girls love to do. But there is a depth to it, working from inside out and feeling like women again.
I love that. It sounds very rewarding with the work that you're doing with these women. So before we kind of go into the reinvention pieces of personal styling or personal image, what is personal style to you? Because just before we jumped on this call, you said fashion is not style. Yeah?
That's true.
Yeah. So how would you define your or someone's personal style, or what is personal style?
Personal style really represents your comfort zone, your bubble that you live in. So it's a matter of wearing the clothes and representing yourself with an image that you're really comfortable with and that's authentic. I think it's got to be authentic. We all look at fashion magazines and we want to look like this one or that one or the third one. But that's not your own personal style. I mean, my style icon is Audrey Hepburn. But I'm never going to really look like her, but I can feel like her. So your own personal style is how you feel in your own skin, how you present yourself with your clothes. You don't have to be anyone else. You just have to be the real you.
Yeah.
So it's got to fit your job, your, the things that you do on weekends, the person who you are. So it's finding that, identifying that, and then getting that message out and across.
Okay, love that. All right. So say for the women listening who want to start, they're really kind of stepping into their power. They want to kind of really shine and be authentic and update their wardrobe to reflect that. So what's some of the ways a woman can reinvent her personal style?
I think the very first thing is changing the mindset. So sometimes, our worst enemy is between our own two ears.
Yeah.
We don't have self-belief. We don't back ourselves. So for me, reinventing and finding a personal style is having that mindset that I am going to dress for success. I'm going to become who I want to be, and I'm going to get where I want to go. So to do that, one of the most powerful tools, aside from the mind thing, is your wardrobe.
Yes.
So that's where you start. Your wardrobe is your best marketing tool.
Yeah, so true.
And if you can get to know how to use that really effectively and make it work for you, it happens very, very quickly. So the first thing is to go through it and be absolutely ruthless about it.
Oh, wow.
See what works and what doesn't. Throw out all the things that you've been hoarding and start all over again. Pick a style icon. Pick, a fashion that you like, a look that you like. Look through magazines, look through the internet, and pick out something that feels right for you. I think that's the best advice I can give. And then get a professional to help, because we're not, we're all good at some things, but we're not good at everything.
Yes.
So I think that's a step in the right direction as well.
So say for the first step, like going through your wardrobe and being quite ruthless and throwing the things out that are not going to suit your personal image or your personal style. How do you decide what is not going to be? I mean, obviously there's an old look there versus a new look, but is there any kind of guidelines you go by? Because I can already imagine there'll be things in my wardrobe that I'll be like, oh, I love it, but I never wear it, and it's probably not really part of my new style, but I still love it, and I'll still want to hold on to it, and so then you end up hoarding. Is there any kind of guidelines that you help people with in order to kind of, cull out some of the old stuff? Like, is it stuff that you haven't worn in a couple of years, or I don't know?
Yes, absolutely, Vesna. I think if something's been hanging in your wardrobe and you haven't worn it for 1, 2, or 3 years, I think it's got to go.
Okay.
I think if it's worn and looking worn, it's got to go.
Yes.
I think you've got to be fairly ruthless about it. The main thing is to have some classical pieces. So they form the foundation of your wardrobe. So keeping it simple. So keeping your black pant, your black skirt, those sorts of things, a classical jacket, and then build your wardrobe from there. But it's really a matter of culling. You can always dress up these classical pieces, accessorise them, and make them work for a new you. But it's starting from a very simple base, benchmark, and then working it up from there. But I think it's also, again, coming back to a mindset where you say, okay, I'm going to do some serious culling here. If it's not working, it's not working. I accept that, and it's going to go. Otherwise, it just crams up your wardrobe, and you've got a wardrobe full of clothes and the old saying, and nothing to wear. And it also becomes very confusing. So if we simplify and bring it down to key pieces, then it makes it easy. So you can plan the night before what you're going to wear. You can get it together in the morning because you can see clearly what's in your wardrobe.
Yeah.
But packed full of stuff that you don't wear, it's just confusing. And I find that then I have a very confused day. So I need to eradicate a lot of it. And I do this seasonally, every season.
Do you?
I do.
Wow.
I do. Beginning of every season, I go through and, not throw out, but give to the Brotherhood or Winnie's. Stuff that I no longer use, and then I feel happy because other people are getting good wear out of it, even though it may not be what I want.
And so what are some of the key pieces? So say, I go through my wardrobe, I cull out all of the old stuff, and what are some of the key pieces to start off with, like a base?
I think it depends a lot on your job role or your lifestyle. But say for a typical corporate woman who has fairly casual weekends, I think the most important thing is a really good pair of jeans. You may laugh, but jeans will take you anywhere.
I love that.
High pumps, a silk shirt, a gorgeous necklace, a fabulous jacket, and it takes you anywhere. Or you can dress it right down with a tee and it's summer and thongs on the beach, So a good pair of blue jeans is really important. To bring us back to the corporate or the job world, I think black is fantastic. People knock black, but it really is a universal, good for anything colour. So is white, so is cream, so is the stone colour. So have your basics: black skirt, black pant, fabulous pair of black pumps, black boots, your classical white shirt. If you want to keep that feminine, it can be soft and silky with a bow, or it can be a really stiff Hugo Boss, the classical, almost a men's style. And then a beautiful tailored jacket. I think everything has to fit right, so the tailor is very, very important. And they're the classical bits. Then you can throw on your beautiful coloured scarves, accessorised with bling, earrings.
Yeah.
So all that works. So that's really usually where I start.
Okay.
And keeping it really simple, Vesna. The floral summer dresses, etc., to me they're add-ons and they're beautiful and they're feminine. But we need to buy with a purpose. So if you start with that foundation, identify the gaps, and then work on with your fillers from there, it ends up being a very successful coordinated wardrobe.
I love that. I love what you just said. Buy with a purpose. Purchase, clothing with a purpose. And I think if you're going through, as you say, and really structuring your wardrobe and really putting a lot of thought into, the basic pieces and building up from there, you're going to have you have a lot more options then of what to wear and what to mix and match. I feel like sometimes I certainly do. I buy stuff that just because I like it, it's that top and I love it. And then I take it home and think, what am I going to wear that with, So buying with a purpose, I love that. And say for the corporate woman, because I've done a bit of time in corporate, and I know that the corporate suits, they're very masculine. Even though there's the skirts and, obviously women wear the skirts or the pants, but I find sometimes the corporate suit quite masculine. Do you find women ever want to kind of make it more feminine and still be fitting in with the corporate environment?
Absolutely, Vesna. And in fact, I wrote a whole blog on that topic.
Oh, wow.
Citing the Hillary Clintons of the world.
Oh, really?
Who were very, very powerful women, yet they've maintained their femininity throughout. And I think that's a very powerful tool, and we should be using it more often. And I think corporate dress has changed a lot over the last 10 years or so, so we don't need to wear what I call the banker suit, the classical navy suit or the black suit with the white shirt. It is so boring.
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of harnessing our femininity and using it, not by being sexy or having a low cleavage or, flaunting our sexuality. But we can be demure, we can be elegant, we can be chic, and that's a wonderful tool to use in a corporate situation. So beautiful soft scarves, soft shirts, colourful blazers. A red jacket, a beautifully tailored red jacket, says a lot about a message that a very powerful woman is projecting.
Yes.
So Hillary Clinton is the pantsuit queen, but she wears it in so many different colours and maintains her femininity as well throughout that. So it's a very good point that you make. And as I said, I did address the whole thing and it's very workable.
Awesome. And, okay, so say really cutting down to the basics in the wardrobe, and then you mentioned, and this probably comes before cutting down to the basics, but finding a style icon. So what are some, how would I find a style icon? I'm only guessing through magazines or someone that I'm already following and I admire their clothing. But do you have any suggestions on how people can help to figure out what their style icon is?
I think it's something that they can only do themselves, Vesna. It is by looking through magazines, watching a TV series. I think that's really the way to find out what you are drawn to, what style you like.
Mm-hmm.
With you, look through magazines, television, the internet, and you'll be drawn to a particular style. And I think that's the way to do it, really. It's just learn by example.
Yeah.
Pick up what you like and then see what that particular person, like my Audrey Hepburn, used to put it together. And it was usually very, very simple. But then everybody's different, and there are a lot of different styles which suit different people in different situations.
Okay. And then the third step you mentioned, get a personal stylist, get someone to help you.
Absolutely. It's I'm very interested in fitness and nutrition. And the first thing I did was get myself a coach who taught me all about that, because I didn't know everything. And this person, Andrea Bradovic, actually changed my life.
Wow.
He got me eating. I was a vegan for about 35 years and wondered why I was looking pale and drawn. And he changed my eating, he changed my exercise regime, and I've really profited from that. So it was worth all the time and effort put into that. So I would always say, go to an expert, because we're all experts in every field.
Absolutely.
So if I've got a problem, I'll go to a psychologist. If I'm fit, I'll go to a personal trainer. So for me, that's what seems to really work well for most people.
And so when you work with someone on their personal style, like, is it a process, I'd imagine? And how long, like, what's kind of the basic steps, or how long does it take? How involved is it, I guess, to work? I've never worked with a personal stylist, so I'm asking for myself.
I guess business, like everything else, it's a step-by-step process. So initially we'd have a chat and we'd talk about where you'd like to go, who you'd like to be, in a sense. And basically from that we get a brief, and then we work to fulfill that brief. So the idea would be for me to come out, have a look at it, do a wardrobe edit, and that big wardrobe.
So that's what you help people with, do the culling?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. I'd imagine people would need assistance with that, emotionally and the actual process.
Absolutely. There are a lot of laughs. There are a lot of big black plastic bags.
Yeah, wow.
If people are wavering, I just give them that extra little shove, very subtly, of course. But bearing in mind that if it's something of sentimental value, then sure, we hang on to it. So basically we look at the wardrobe, we cull, we identify the gaps so that we have a shopping list and we only go for what we really need. So then I go away and I would do what I call a recon. So before the client and I go for a shop, I would spend a lot of hours pounding the pavements, looking at shops, picking out the ideal clothes, the ideal pieces or the outfits that we've identified that we really need. And then we do a 2 to 3 hour shop. And the clothes are already there, so it's not like a window shopping exercise. We know exactly we're doing steps A, B, C, and D. The clothes are there, waiting, chosen, in the right style, in the right colour, in the right size. So it's a very, time-effective exercise, and people are time poor.
Yeah, of course.
So then we've bought all these wonderful clothes, and then we mix and match them. We do a lookbook if the client would like, and we photograph the different looks, the different outfits, all the permutations and combinations.
Lovely.
And then, if required, we have a maintenance program so that if there's any problems in the future, in the next 12 months, it's just a matter of picking up the phone, sending a photo and saying, Nikki, what do you think? And I send a text straight back, yes, no, why, and otherwise.
I love that.
So that's the way it generally works.
Lovely. And if people want to find out more about your work, where can they go?
I have a website business, so it's wsnikkicasey.com.au, and it basically outlines my services, who I am, what I do, etc. I'm based in Melbourne, but I do travel interstate. And I'm also on LinkedIn.
Beautiful. And I might check out your blog article on Hillary Clinton and see what that's all about. Thank you so much for your time today and sharing your tips on wardrobe reinvention for corporate women and just women in general. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.